So now let's step into the day one of the class. So hope like everyone has installed the IntelliJ. So just open your IntelliJ in your system so you can able to see this logo. So just open it. So this ID is nothing but we call it as a workspace, okay, where we will do the coding. Okay. So initially like we need to set up this workspace so that like we can do the coding. And how we are going to set up this workspace in the sense, so whenever like we are setting up the workspace, the first thing is like we need to create a project. Okay, and what kind of project we are going to create? So for an automation, so probably as we are using the Java, so you may assume that like we are going to create a Java project. But I told like in a real time, like we are going to use some concept called as a framework. And in order to framework to work, so we should create a Maven project. Okay, so the first step is like, so we need to create a project, and what kind of project we are going to create in the sense like we are going to create the Maven project, and we'll tell you the reason like what is the difference between the Java project and the Maven project today. So now let me just open this IntelliJ. So whenever you're opening this IntelliJ for the first time, so the look and feel of your IntelliJ may be differ. So probably like it will be in the black screen and mine will be in the white screen. So the reason is like I have changed the appearance. Like in case if you're not comfortable with the black screen and if you wish to change to the white screen, then you can easily change by clicking this 4 lines at the top left corner. So this we call it as a main menu. So just click on the main menu, and inside the main menu, like we are having the option called as in settings. Like if you click on the settings, like the first option inside the settings, we call it as an appearance and behavior. So in which click on the appearance, so where we can select the theme. Okay, so here I'm using the theme called as an IntelliJ Lite, so that is why like my screen is in white. So if I by default, I guess it will be default to the dark. So if you're not comfortable with this view, so probably right, you can change the theme. So I'm just changing the theme back to the IntelliJ Lite. So that is the reason like my screen is appearing as in the white color. And other thing is like whenever you open, so as I have already injected, I have done some coding. So the respective coding is appearing in my system. In your case, like you will be having some options like create a new project, open a project like that. So we need to create the project. And before creating the project, so we should create some folder in our local disk. Okay, so like I'm just navigating to my local disk. So I'm using the local disk D, creating the folder. So prefer to create the folder in the local disk DRE apart from local disk C. So if you have only one local disk, then fine. If you have multiple local disks, so have create the folder in the other local disk, because here we are going to create the folder. What is the need of the folder in the sense? So as of now, like whatever the coding work which we are going to do, so we are going to store it in our local. So local is nothing but, so our system is local, and where we are going to store, so that's the reason like I'm just specifying the folder. So I'm just creating the folder. So inside this I already have the folder called as in Selenium, so inside which I'm adding the new folder. So let it be like Jan 2024. Okay, so Intel. So this is the folder, and whatever the coding part which I'm going to do, it's going to be stored inside this folder. So now let us create the project. How we need to create the project in the sense, again just click on the main menu. So post clicking on the main menu, like you could see the option called as a new, and under the new, so there is an option called as an project. So just click on the project. So what I did, so I have navigated to the main menu, and inside the main menu, like we are having the new option, and under which like we are having the option for the create project. So once you click on this option, some pop-up will be opened. So this is the window for new project window. So where we need to specify the name. Okay, so we need to give some name. So basically like whatever the project which we are working, so we used to provide the similar name. So for example, if you're working for the alpha project, then you can give it as an alpha. So let's say like let us give some different name. So let it be like, what can we give? So let the project name be the rainbow. Okay, so I'm just giving the project name as a rainbow. And this location. So location is nothing but, so this is we called as the path where our project is going to save. So just we have created the folder, right? So you can just copy the folder path and you can replace the folder path, which means like our project will be stored in the folder called as an Jan 2024 IntelliJ. Okay, and here you could see an option called as an create git repository, and this option is enabled to store the coding in the cloud. So once we are familiarized with once we have developed certain set of coding, post that like we can migrate our coding to the GitHub repository. But as of for the time being, like we are creating everything in our local. Okay, so whatever the coding which we are doing currently will be available only in your system. But whereas when I stored in the GitHub repository, it can be accessed by everyone. So in a real time, as we are going to work as a team, so it should be available in the GitHub repository, like we will be discussing this in the later part. And then we need to select the language. So make sure like you are selecting the language as the Java. And we need to select the build system. So we are having three types of build system called as an IntelliJ, Maven and Gradle. So here we need to select the Maven, because as I told, like we are going to create the Maven project. So whereas when you select this IntelliJ, so it will create the Java project. So I'm selecting the Maven project. And here we are having some option called as an JDK. So JDK is nothing but we call it as a Java development kit. So as of now, like we need to point the Java available in our system. So whatever the Java version is available in system, it will pre-populate. So just if you click on this drop down, right? So automatically it will detect the available Java version and it will provide us a suggestions. So you can select the respective Java version. I can say like I'm selecting the Java version as the 21 or 17 and post selecting the Java version. So just you can click on the create option. Okay. So once you click on the create option, so what happened? So it will create a project. So while doing for the first time, you may not get this pop-up because like as I have some existing project, it is asking me, so whether do I need to open this rainbow project in this window or new window. So I'm just opening in the new window. But whenever you try to do, like obviously like the project will be get created. So I'm repeat one time. So just click on the files and then navigate to the option called as an new, under which like you can able to see the option called as an project. So click on the project and pose that, like specify the name. So give some random name as per your wish, and location, the path where we need to store, select the language as Java and build system as Maven, and select the Java version and click on the create button. So automatically, so the project called as an rainbow will be created. And if I hope near to the rainbow, like you could see the folder location. So even if I navigate to the respective folder, now you could see the folder called as an rainbow is created. So whatever the things like we are going to type in the IDE, which will be amended in the respective folder. So which we call it as an workspace. Okay, so it will be amended in the workspace. So now we have created this. So now if I expand this folder, so we generally have some dot idea. So whenever some folder start with the dot, it is like temp folder, you can ignore it. and below which like we are having folder called as an src. Okay, so what is mean by src? In the sense, we call it as an source folder, and inside the source folder like we are going to do the coding. Okay, so inside the source folder we are going to do the coding. So I'm expanding the source folder, but inside the source folder I could see two different folder. One we call it as a main and another we call it as a test. So it contain two folder. So one is of source main and another is of source test. Okay, and then if I expand the main, inside the main I am having two folder. So Java and then resources. I can say, so we are having source main Java and then source main resources. Okay, so these are the two folders which are available. In similar way, inside the test, so we should have source test Java as well as source test resources. Okay. So why we are having multiple folders in the sense, because the Maven project always provide proper folder structure. Okay, so Maven provides proper folder structure. So as we are creating the Maven, as we have created the project with the Maven offer these many folders. And why it's offering this much of folders in the sense, so in a real time, so we are going to utilize each and every folder for some individual purpose. Let's say as of now, like we are having the folder called as in source test Java. So we can use this source test Java for doing the coding. Okay, so whenever we are going to do the coding, like we will be stick with the folder called as an source test Java. So what is the first reason like for using the Maven in the sense? So Maven provides a folder structure and we need to verify whether all the folders are present or not. So now I just open the main, I could see Java and resources, and I'm again expanding the test. Okay, so inside the test, like I could see the folder called as an Java, but the resource folder is not available. So we need to add the resource folder. How we can add the resource folder in the sense, like click on the test, okay, and then right click on it. So navigate to new option, and then there is an option called as an directory. Okay, so how to add the resource folder in the sense, like, so just go to the files. Okay, so new and then directory. So I'm just clicking, sorry, we need to right click on the test. Okay, so we need to right click on the test, new and then directory. If you click on the directory, by default, the resource folder will be available. So just click on the, double click on the resource folder, it will be added up. So now we are having the proper folder structure called as an main Java resources and test Java resources, and we can start the coding. Okay, and before starting the coding, like obviously, like, so we should have the basic knowledge of Java, and we can discuss those basic knowledge by tomorrow. Today, like just let's focus on the project setup. So whatever the things which are needed for the project, so we can configure each and everything. Okay, so now we have created the Maven project. So the Maven project is created successfully in our system. So till this point, does anyone have any doubt?
So, Maven, are you downloading or
So
something?
we
Because
don't need to download. We don't need to download. So
because
whenever,
I don't see this main and test folders in my. I have just source.
so basically, like if you are using the IDE while creating the project, did you selected this build system as Maven? Because like if the build system is selected as IntelliJ, then only the source folder will be available. So could you recheck it, or could you try recreating it?
Yeah, okay, got you. Thank you. So yeah, I selected IntelliJ actually yesterday when Rishi was explaining. Yeah, I will check it.
Okay, so if so, make sure the build system is selected as Maven.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, any other issues from anyone?
Do we need to add resources folder every time we create the project?
So while creating the project for the first time, we need to add the resource folder. So if you are planning to create a new project, like the resource folder won't be available, we need to add it up. So this is like kind of an one-time setup which we used to do in the projects. Okay, any other questions? Okay, fine. And before starting the coding, so we need to do some setup. So we can call it as an setup, or we can say it is an configuration. Okay, so assume that in your system, you are going to install a game. So like for installing the game, the prerequisite is like, so your system should have some any versions of Java. So one and only if the Java is present, so you can install this game in your system. So if the Java is not present, like obviously like you can't install the game. So how the respective game will get to know so whether the Java is available in our system or not, in the sense, so it will check somewhere in our system which we call it as an environment variable. So inside the environment variables, it will check the system variables. So this is the path, like whatever the software which we are going to install in our system, if it depends upon other software, so it will navigate to the system variables which is available inside the environment variables, and it will check the path of the Java. So which means like we need to manually set the path of the Java in the system variable, so that like whenever the other software need the help of the Java, they can get to know the path of the Java and they can utilize the files which are relevant to the Java. So the next thing is like, so we need to provide the path of the Java. Okay, so and we will be having two types of path. So one we call it as an home path and then like bin path. So the home path is nothing but we call it as an root folder. So root folder is like whenever we install anything in our system, so it will be available inside the local disk C. So everyone aware, like whenever we are installing anything, so it will be available in the local disk C, and under which like we will be having the folder called as in program files, and inside the program files all the software related files will be available. And as you have installed the Java, the folder called as in Java will be present inside the local disk C program files. So if I open the Java, like I'm having different version, like I'm having the 17, 21 and the 8. So as I'm going to stick with the Java 21, so I'm just going to select the open this folder called as an JDK 21. Okay, so this is the root folder. So we need to provide the path of the root folder. So how we can provide the path of the root folder in the sense, so just you can copy the path, and as I told, like we need to provide in the environment variables. So in your search bar, you can search with the keyword called as an edit environment variables for your account. If you search with the keyword, so you in the suggestion you will be seeing this option called as an edit environmental variables for your account. So if you just click on it, so obviously like it will be opening, but this disabled. Okay, there is another way of opening. Probably what you can do, you can just click on this PC and right click on this PC, and inside which like you're having something called as an properties. So just navigate to the properties, and then like in the properties, like we are having some advanced system settings. So click on the advanced system settings, or you can search this advanced system settings in the search bar. Okay, if you just click on the advanced system testing, even it will open this window called as system properties, under which like we will be having environmental variables. So what you need to search, so like you need to search the advanced, okay, system settings. So just search the advanced system settings. So now we will be having two tab. One is like user variable and another we call it as an system variable. So under the system variable, like we need to set the path. So we need to set the path of the Java so that the other software will get to know where the Java is available. So inside the system variable, I'm going to set the path of the Java. So there is three buttons: new, edit, and delete. So as we are setting up the Java path, so we need to click on the new, because like this is the first time we are setting up. So there is something called as a variable name and variable value. So I will explain what is meant by variable name in the later part. So at the high level answer, the variable name is nothing but the user provided name is called as a variable. So if I type as an Aravind, so obviously the variable name will be Aravind. If I type hello, the variable name will be like Aravind. But as we are providing the home path, so we are having some naming conversion. So whenever you are providing the home path of the Java, so the name should be like Java underscore home. Okay, in case like if you are going to provide the home path of Python, so it should be like Python underscore home. If you're going to provide the home path of the Maven, it should be like Maven underscore home. As it is of Java, I'm just typing Java underscore home. And the variable value is nothing but the path. So whatever the path we have copied, the root path, I'm just navigating to the local disk C program files and then navigate to the Java and open the respective version and copy the root folder path. Okay, I'm just pasting it up and then click on OK. So once you click on OK, so it will be pre-populating here. So we have set the Java home path. As the home path is available in the system variable, the game will conclude. So the Java is available in our system and it will proceed with the next step. But while installing this particular game, so if the game required so few files of Java, then it will refer to the bin folder. Okay, so in whenever you have installed any of the software, so probably like you may have know the folder called as a bin, which is available everywhere. So whatever, so whenever we install the new software, for sure the bin folder will be available. So what is the need of the bin folder in the sense? If I just open the bin folder, so I can see lot of files. So these are like kind of an configuration files or kind of an tools. So which will provide the support for other tools. So for example, even the IntelliJ is going to use Java. So if the IntelliJ you need to use the Java, it should utilize the Java files. So how it will utilize the Java files in the sense by referring the bin path. So inside the bin path, all the required supportive files will be available. So one and only if the supportive files is available, so we can run the Java, or else like if other software need the help of the Java, so they will be utilizing these files and with the help of the files, they will install the software successfully. So we need to provide the bin path as well. So that is what I mentioned, like whenever we need to provide the path, so we should provide the home path and the bin path. So bin path in the sense, nothing but like we need to provide till the bin root path. Okay, so bin root path in the sense like you need to copy this, open this bin path, and this is the till this bin is the bin root path. I'm just copying it up, and where we need to provide in the sense. So as I mentioned, like we need to provide everything in the environmental variables in a search bar, search with the advanced system settings. So just click on the advanced system settings. So the particular option will be open. So click on the environmental variables. We will be having two things, user variable and system variable. And under the system variable, click on the new and then give the home path. But now we are going to provide the bin path. So the bin path should be provided under the folder called as an path. Okay, so by default this path folder will be available. So if you just navigate, if you just scroll down a bit, so here you could see something called as an path, so which will be already available. So only thing you need to edit it up, because like we are going to include the bin path, we are not adding the path newly. So that is why I'm not clicking on the new button. As we are editing, I'm just clicking on the edit path. So once you click on the edit path, so the new window will be opening. So in which click on the new option and then copy the bin path of the Java. Okay, so I'm just copying the bin path of the Java and then I'm clicking on the OK button. Okay, so now the path of the Java is like we have set the path of the Java. So if you have any other doubt, so if you need to conclude whether the path of the Java is configured correctly or not, so as I told yesterday, so we can open the command prompt and we can run the command called as an Java hyphen version. Okay, so in the search bar, so search this command prompt cmd and open the command prompt, so in which like type java space hyphen version and then click on the enter. So once you click on the enter, the respective Java version will be detected. Or if you need to know the path of the Java, so you can type the command called as an where Java. So whenever we click on where Java, so it will point so wherever Java is present. So it is present under the program files Java. Okay, so we can use this two commands and we can conclude so where the Java is present or what is the version of Java. So while you are injecting these commands, so make sure like everything should be in the lower case. So while doing the program, right, so program or whatever the configurations we are doing, so we should follow the appropriate naming conversion. So if you notice, like even for setting this environmental variable, so if you notice, like I have provided the like home path of the Java in capital letter, because these are like kind of the universal rule which is followed across the organization. So if something is followed across the organization, so everyone expectation is like, so everyone should stick with this. So that is why like I'm repeating again, like make sure we are providing the appropriate naming conversion. Okay, like we have provided the Java. So as we have provided the path of the Java, so the whatever the software which you are going to install will recognize the path of the Java, and if they require the support of the Java, they will refer the bin path and they will be access the required configuration file and they will install the respective software, etc. So now the game will be installed successfully. In similar way, as we are going to use Maven project, okay, so we should have Maven in our system. So generally we need to download the Maven. So just if you navigate to the Google and then if you search with the keyword called as an Maven download. Okay, so this is the official website called as an Apache Maven. So probably I will just ping this in the chat as well as I will mention in the notepad. So probably once I share, like you can refer this notepad. Okay, so just navigate to the official Apache Maven web page. So under which like we will be having the section called as an files. So under the file section, so there is something called as an binary zip archive. Okay, so what we are going to do, so we are going navigating to the file section and under which like we are going to download the binary zip archive. So when it is of an, if you see the extension, it ends with .zip. So if it is of an .zip, we are not going to install it. So we are going to just download it. So for example, like if I just click on it, so the probably it will be get downloaded. But while yesterday, like while you are downloading the Java, so if you have mentioned the extension will be like .exe. So that because the Windows application extension will be like a .exe, so which means like we can't install the exe files. So whereas like if you take the Android files, so the extension will be like .apk, 257.apk, so we can install it in our Android mobiles. So in similar way, like we are having something called as a zip file. So this zip file we can't install it, so just we need to extract the zip files. So here, this is the zip file which I have downloaded. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this zip file, and I need to, as we are not installing, so because whenever we install something, by default it will be available in the program files, but we are not installing the Maven, right? So what I'm doing, so I'm just navigating to the local disk C, and I'm just creating the new folder. Okay, so I'm just adding the new folder. I'm just renaming it as an Maven. So under this folder, I'm just copying the respective zip file. So if you see the type of the file, it is like compressed zip folder. So whenever something is zip folder, it will contain lot of file. So we need to extract the whatever the available files which are present inside the zip. How we can extract in the sense that you can just right click, okay, and you can click on the option called as an extract all. So when you click on the extract all, so it will ask for this option. So just click on extract. So all the files, whatever the files which are present inside the zip file, so which will be extracted and it will be placed in the same folder. So you could see the file has been extracted. As we have extracted the file, we don't need of the compressed zip file. So you can delete it. And if I open it, so inside which I'm having one more folder called as an Apache Maven 3.96. If I open it, so still we are having some bin folder. So which means like all the configuration related to the Maven will be available in the bin folder. So we need to provide the path of the Maven. So how we can provide the path of the Maven in the sense, so till the root folder path. So what is the root folder? Where all the folder bin, boot, conf, lib are present, we call it the root folder. I'm just copying the path, and again I'm navigating to the advanced system settings and then environmental variables, and I'm just navigating to the system variables, and I'm clicking on the new as it is of an Maven path. So as per naming conversion, so I'm just giving Maven underscore home, and in the, under the variable value, I'm just pasting the version of the Maven. So what is the Maven version which we are using currently is like 3.96. So always aware what is the version which we are using. So the version of the Maven is like 3.9.6. So now we have set the like home path. In similar way, we need to set the bin path. So you are aware like we need to navigate to the path, and once you navigate to the path, click on the edit and then add a new, and then you can add the Maven bin path. So as I have already added, so I'm not adding the back, or if needed I can just copy and I can replace the existing path and then click on OK. Okay, so now we can make sure like whether the Maven path is configured or not. The shortcut of the Maven, we call it as an MVN. Okay, so we call how we will be in shortcut, we will be using the Maven in the sense MVN. So if you need the version of Maven, we can say MVN space hyphen version. So I am just opening the command prompt. Okay, and I'm just typing so MVN space hyphen version, and I'm clicking on enter. So it will detect the Apache Maven version and where my Apache Maven is present. So for some of the system, like whenever you type this command, so it may throw the error stating that it's not an recognized command. So probably right, if you are using some old machines, like you need to do one restart. So one and only if you do the restart of your system, so it will detect the path of the Java as well as the path of the Maven. So by this way, like we can assure that the path of the like Java as well as the path of the Maven is configured successfully in our system. Okay, so till this point, does anyone have any doubts? Okay, considering silent as no. So now we have
Hi, Anand.
yeah,
Sorry for disturbing you.
yeah, no issues. Tell me.
I actually added the environment variables for the path you told us to change, right?
Mm.
To the current bin path of the Java.
Mm.
So I've changed that, but it's not taking that when I click on the command prompt of CMD, and when I click on where Java, I have an older version of Java. It's
So
pointing to that one.
yeah, that is what I told, right? So if your system, it won't auto detect. So as we are doing the first time, you need to do the restart. So once you do the restart, automatically the versions will be get amended.
Okay, okay.
Mm. And
So
also
similar with
like,
the Maven, okay.
yeah, similar with the Maven as well.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So because like as I have already configured everything in my system, so it is detecting it. But when you are doing for the first time, so the restart may be required, and also verify like you have removed the old versions and you have amended the path of the new versions.
Okay. Thank you.
So now we have done with the configuration. And other thing is like, so as you notice, like just we have created the project. So if I just how we have created the project, like we have navigated the new and we have click on the project and we have select the version of the Java. So it will automatically detect the version of the Java. So what happened, like once we create the project, so in the folder structure, like apart from this .id source and this, there is some file called as an pom.xml. So which I will explain later. You could see something called as an external libraries. So if I expand this external library, so you could see, so it has added the all Java files into the project. So like you could see the folder called as 21 and it is pointing to the path called as an program files Java JDK21. So which means all the relevant Java file will be added into the project. So which means by default, we are injecting the Java knowledge to the project. So in order to work on the project, so we should inject the knowledge. So as we are going to use the Java, so we have successfully injected the knowledge of the Java in similar way. So we should inject the knowledge of the Selenium as well as the framework. Okay, so as the Java files are available inside the project, so whenever you are doing the coding, so whenever you use the keywords of the Java, so the project will able to recognize those keywords and it will justify, okay, this is the Java keyword and this is the Selenium keyword. So the reason is like as the Java files are added inside the external libraries. Okay, so make sure like whether all the respective Java folders are added into a system or not. And then like whenever like you're creating the project for the first time, if you face any error, so like if some red lines are appearing over any of the folders, so just click on the main menu and there is an option called as an invalidate caches. So what is the need of this invalidate caches in the sense, whenever we do the invalidate caches, it will rebuild the project. So for example, if I click on the invalidate caches, so here you can clear the temp files and you can just clear the VSL logs and you can delete the embedded browser. You can select this three option. You can click on the invalidate and restart. So whenever like you are facing any errors in the during the time of the setup, so try to do the invalidate and restart. The invalidate and restart will reconfigure our project. Okay, which means it will reload all the files. So during the first time, so maybe some file may missed. So that is the reason like we may get the error. But if we do the invalidate restart, it will repoint our project. You could see something called as an indexing is occurring here. So what is what's happening in the sense? It is pointing all the Java files to our project once again. So one and only if the indexing is done successfully, we can work on the project. Okay. So if you have any errors, always do the invalidate and restart. Another thing I forgot to inform in the sense, like in order to the automation to work, so you should have the 64-bit Windows. So if you are using the Mac, it's not an issue, like it will support in Mac version. But if it is of an Windows, so make sure like it is of a 64-bit and you should have the RAM minimum of 4 GB, preferably like if it's an 8 GB, like it will be well and good for the execution. So you can even in the advanced system settings or So not in the advanced system settings. So like if you just navigate to this PC and if you click on the properties, so you could be able to see your system configuration. So make sure like the operating system on the is like 64-bit because the automation will run only on the 64-bit operating system, and this is for only for the Windows. And for Mac, whatever the bit it will work. And make sure like you are having the good RAM. And other thing is like when it is of an OS, so make sure like you are using the OS Windows 8 and above. Okay, so preferably, so you should try to use the Windows 10 or 11 because like you will feel the smoother experience while doing the automation. So it won't support in the Windows 7. Nowadays the automation won't support in the Windows 7. So you should use the Windows 8 and above. So try to if you don't have this OS, so configure system accordingly. So make sure your system is kind of an 64-bit and you have a good RAM as well as the operating system should be like the Windows 10 or 11.
phone कहाँ है आपके?
Okay. So till this point, any doubt?
Hi Arvind.
Yes.
For me, Java is installed an environment variable system variable setup, but for MVN version, it is saying that the Java underscore home environment variable is not defined correctly. This is needed for this to run this program.
So where it is showing the command prompt?
Yes,
So what you're trying to do in the command prompt?
I tried MVN underscore version.
So MEN space underscore
Yes.
version. Okay, so once you type this command, it is showing that Java path is not set correctly.
Yes.
Okay, so whether you configure the Java path?
Yes, if I type Java underscore version, it is showing me the version.
Okay, so probably like post on the restart, try this, and even after after restart, if the version is not editing, it's not an issue because like whenever we run the basic program, whenever tomorrow, like when we run the basic program, so as we have provided all the path, so it will establish the sync up and all the issues will be resolved, and post that like you could be able to see the versions.
Okay.
I show how to rebuild and refresh as you explained. Okay, so the rebuild in the sense like just click on the main menu. So navigate to the option called as an invalidate caches. So in which like click on this 3 option and then click on the invalidate and restart. It will rebuild the project.
Hi, Arvind.
Yes.
So just I don't. It's a very basic question.
Yeah, no issues.
So earlier I have seen many places means they used to install Java with Eclipse IDE. So
even even I will explain that because as I told, nothing is going to differ. So once we're done with the setup of the IntelliJ, I will explain you guys so how we will be configuring everything in the Eclipse as well. So nothing is going to be changed. Okay, so even I will install the Eclipse and will show you like how we are creating the Maven project in the Eclipse as well. And once we create the Maven project in Eclipse, so all the structure is going to remain same because like the Maven is universal structure. So whatever the things we are seeing here will be available in the Eclipse as well, and whatever the coding we are going to type will be remain same. So probably like I will compare those two things tomorrow for the better understanding.
Okay, so means they are different in the editor means.
But basically like in the requirement they won't give the specification for the IDE and all.
So we can select either this one or either Eclipse.
Yeah, either Eclipse. So
both.
based whatever the project is suggesting, we can suggest it up. But when compared to Eclipse, I always say, so the IntelliJ will be much better as it give the suggestions while we are doing the coding.
Okay. And Maven you are using for the better folder structure.
Yes, better folder structure, but there is another actual reason. So there some technical term is there, even that we will be discussing tomorrow. So we are not using the Maven just because of the folder structure. So you could notice some file called as an pom.xml.
Yes.
So this is the heart, we call it as an heart of the Maven. So we are going to do some configurations and then you will get to know the usage of the Maven tomorrow.
Same thing we can configure in Eclipse also.
Maven, yeah. Everything, whatever the structure is the same, whatever the files which are displaying. So wherever you, whatever the ID you use, everywhere it will be same. So there is no specific difference with respect to either the Eclipse or the Visual Studio Code or the IntelliJ or the Python. So everything remains same.
So in environment variables, we are setting only system variables, right? Not user variable.
Yeah, because whenever we are going to set something manually, it should be set in the system variables. So the user variable will be automatically taken care by the Windows. So what happened nowadays, like whenever we install any software, so it will automatically set the path. So the auto path will be set in the user variable. The manual path, whenever we are going to provide the path manually, we should set in the system variables.
Thank you.